Hey, how you doing? It's Eddie Simon. As always, doing my best to live life every single day without regrets. As you've heard me say before, there's two things that I cannot control. The fact that I'm here and also the fact that one day I won't be here. We're coming and we're going. But one thing we can control is what we do while we're here. The impact and the significance we make while we're here. So I'm super excited to come before you today, and I really want to talk about the power of journaling. Oh my goodness, I love this subject. I've talked about it before in other videos. I've kind of dropped the term journaling and how I journal, but I really want to focus today a few minutes with you on why I love it so much, why I think it's important, and even give you some action steps that you can take on journaling. So before I do that, I just want to show you, here are 6 of my journals. So I want to make sure you understand, I'm not just talking about things that I believe in or hope to do. Some of that I may talk about, but this is something that I am implementing in my life. These are 6 journals that I have accumulated over the past 14 years. My first journal right here is dated January 1st, 2006. And this is my most recent journal that I started this year, 2020. So in my 6 journals over the past 14 years, wow, there's everything from when I met my wife and we were just dating, different thoughts and ideas I've had, different things I've learned, projects and organizations I've joined, skills I've taken on. I mean, everything, financial, income, goals. I mean, honestly, anything you could think of, anything I was going through at the time, good and bad, ups and downs, trips I've taken overseas and even here in the country, it's all in my journal. And I'm so excited one day I can probably sit back and just look through my journal and see truly how far I've come and how much I've matured. And there's so much more growth that's gonna come, and I'm gonna continue to journal. So a huge shout out and thank you to one of my big brothers and mentors and one of the most inspirational people I know, Nehemiah Gwaltney, who actually introduced me to journaling back when I was in college, and he was a big brother to me. He really challenged me to journal as much as possible because it was so important. So I want to pass that lesson forward to you today if you're watching this video. Let's get into it. So I want to give you 3 points, 3 reasons why I believe journaling is so important, how it can be such a powerful tool in your life. Point 1, control. Yes, journaling gives you control. I put it this way: as a budget is to your money, and as a schedule is to your time, so a journal is to your life, or so a journal is to your thoughts. I mean, come on. If you have a budget, you know how important it is. If you don't, well, I'm gonna do another video for you, so look out for a video on budgeting 101. But guys, if you wanna know where your money's coming from and where your money's going, you need to have a budget, right? A budget is a surefire way for you to make sure that you are keeping tight track on your money, because it's important. That is probably the most important resource in your life, right? Same thing with your time. I mean, come on, time is life. Some people say time is money, but I believe time is life. How I spend my time is how I spend my life. So therefore, I need to make sure I have a tight schedule. If you want a surefire way to make sure you know what you're doing with your time every single day, guess what? Get on a schedule. Guys, in the same exact way, if you want to take control of your life, if you want to take control of your thoughts, if you want to take control of the things that you're doing day in, day out, I promise you, journaling gives you that control. It gives you that control. You can sit down and you can write down what you want to do. You can look at what you have done. You can write down your ideas. You can write down your motivations. I mean, so much. Just truly imagine. I don't really know if there's a scientific way. Maybe there's a video you can look up on YouTube, and please share it with me on comments. But I'm curious, how many thoughts in one day does the average human have? I personally have no idea. If you know out there, please share it with me. But I can only imagine it's thousands upon thousands. If you can document just a few of the myriad of thoughts that you have on a daily basis, oh my goodness, what would that do when you sit down and just, wow, I did think about that, right? So the first point, control. Journaling gives you control. I mean, let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. How many of you watching this video feel like, man, my life is out of control? What have I done this week? What have I done this year? Come on, guys. We're in 2020. Can you tell me what you've done in 2019? Guess what? I can. I got a journal that tells me. Can you tell me what you were doing back in 2006? That might bring some value to why you're acting or functioning or how you became to be who you are today in 2020? Well, if you had a journal in 2006, you probably can look back, read something, see, oh, okay, this is what happened. Wow. And you can start making adjustments. Guys, a journal is like your map. It's like a map. It tells you where have you been, where you are, and if you do it right, it'll tell you where you're going. Again, it gives you control. Okay, I'm gonna stop beating that dead horse, but that is so important, probably the most important part, that your journal gives you control of your life. Guys, it's time to take control of your life. Okay, point number 2, it's people proof, right? What do I mean by that, people proof? Well, I mean that people forget, but paper doesn't, right? My journal, it's a nice little book with, blank paper and lines, right? Maybe you're a techie person and your journal's on your laptop, it's in your cloud. Maybe your journal's on your iPhone, your smartphone, your Android, your tablet, whatever, right? The point is, if we leave it up to ourselves or up to other people to remember the things that are important to us, that is not good. That is not a good insurance plan, right? People forget, paper doesn't. Remember that. Man, you can write down agreements you've made, right? Now, this is outside of a contract, right? I'm not trying to give you legal advice. You need to have the legal things for things that are intense and serious that require those type of things. But hey, I just had this conversation with somebody and this is what we came to. Hey, we just came up with this business idea. Let me write it in my journal. Not a loose leaf of paper. Maybe write it on a loose leaf of paper or napkin up front, but you quickly transfer it to your journal. Why? Because your journal, you're most likely take it more serious. You stage it somewhere in your home that is always there consistently. For me, it's right next to my bed on my nightstand. So every morning, every night, in the middle of the day, on a weekend, I can always get to it and begin to write when things come to me. So it's very important that people forget. You will forget. Your spouse will forget. Your children will forget. Your best friend who just will always have your back. Guess what? Human nature says people will forget, but ink on paper will not forget. Write it down in your journal. So point 1, journal gives you control. Point 2, it is people proof, right? People forget, but your journal will not forget. All right, last point, and probably the one that is most meaningful for me. Your journal, my journal, is transgenerational. Oh, one of my favorite quotes says, "A righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children's children." I never forget when I learned this. Somebody said if you really want to measure the level of success of a person, you have to look at it 2 generations after. Not just the generation right after them, but look 2 generations. Sometimes some people say even 3 generations afterwards. Why? Because how effective was that person in transferring their ability and their success and their significance to the next generation, right? But their success is not just in the next generation. If they successfully transfer the information to the next generation, then it should be easy for that generation to give it to their generation. A wise person leaves treasures or inheritance for their children's children, right? Their grandchildren, their great-grandchildren. And this means so much to me. If you know anything about me and my family dynamics, I'm first generation here in America. My mother came over from Haiti when she was a teenager, and she had myself, my brother, my sister. I'm the youngest of 3, and we had a rough upbringing. It was very challenging. My mother did her best to navigate this new terrain called America, coming from the island of Haiti. But sometimes I sit back and just wish, I can remember through my childhood, some of the things I saw her do. I remember seeing her pray. I remember seeing her cry. I remember seeing her trying to strategize. But oh wow, how I wish she had a journal that I can read her thoughts. Well, she's passed away now. She actually passed away in 2010, 3 months after my firstborn child was born. And after my firstborn child, Justice, was born in 2010, I had 4 more children. So I actually have 5 children. And this is why this point is so important to me. Journals are transgenerational. I am so excited to know that one day when I'm gone, my 5 children can pick up my journals and get to know me all over again. They get to know my thoughts. They get to know my heart. They get to know the things that I've always wanted to do and maybe never got a chance to do. They get to see the process of how I grew from a boy to a man, how I failed, and how I came back from those failures. It's all in my journal, guys. I don't hide a thing. And I'm so excited that one day my son can see the man I used to be and the man I became. My daughters can see the man I used to be and the father I became, the husband I became. That means so much to me because it will bring value to their life. That's my hope. I'm hoping that they can look at it and read it just like they can read a good book. You know, one of my favorite books, some of you may know, but it's the Bible. I quote it all the time. Do you know the Bible is nothing but journal entries of different men and women who encountered their God? And now me and many of you out there get to experience that journal entry. We get to dive into their life. We get to go back into time and experience what they experienced with them because they took the time to journal. One of my second favorite books, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you haven't read it yet, I recommend you do it. Do you know it's just an account of different interviews and different thoughts he had after he interviewed hundreds of successful people? And now we get to share and partake of his notes on success that he took from those interviews. Journaling, transgenerational. So how much more, guys? Think about it. Maybe you don't have kids, but maybe there's somebody out there that you're meant to impact. Remember, 2 things we can't control: when we come and when we go. But this one thing we can control: how impactful are we while we're here? Well, one way to make sure that we are impactful is by journaling. Write down your experiences, write down your thoughts, write down your ambitions, and believe that one day it's gonna be of great impact to another life. You know, when you buy this journal, it starts off as an empty book full of empty pages. Maybe cost you a couple bucks. You can get one at the dollar store, $1. But after you fill that journal, it will be worth so much. I would venture to say it will be priceless because of the life lessons and experiences that you'll leave behind. That has become such a powerful part of my life that I've taught my children how to do it. And it's been so cool. I never forget that moment when I went to the dollar store and bought 5 journals for 5 of my children and began to teach them the process of journaling on a daily basis. Now, they're still getting the hang of doing it every single day. But I tell you, just recently, my oldest daughter, Justice, came up to me. She saw me journaling and reading one of my favorite books. And she came up to me and said, Daddy, I forgot to tell you yesterday, I read the Bible, I prayed, and then I journaled, and it was so awesome. Wow. I said, good job, Justice. And I kept it real mature, but inside I just exploded with joy and excitement because it's all about that legacy. Leaving a legacy and leaving an inheritance is not just about money, guys. It's about everything. The way you live. What are the footsteps you're leaving for those who are coming behind you to walk into and to elevate beyond? So hopefully you really enjoyed those 3 reasons why journaling can be extremely powerful for your life. Again, just to recap, it gives you control. I mean, come on, who doesn't want control of their life? Journaling would do that for you. It's people proof. People forget. Paper doesn't. And lastly, it's transgenerational. It's going to leave such a beautiful legacy for those who come after you. So, hey, stay close, stay tuned, because I plan on doing a part 2 to this where I give you some really good first entry ideas that would get you started on a great journey of journaling. Please leave comments if you have any ideas of topics you would like me to speak on, or any way I can bring more value in this specific content. Please, please, please share it. It would mean so much to me as we are all growing and moving forward to live life without regrets on this journey together. So thank you so much.